that really your idea of how to run a newspaper?
I don't know how to run a newspaper, Mr. Thatcher. I just try everything I can think of.
Welcome to Watch Mojo, and today we're counting down our picks for the top 20 ridiculous news headlines of all time.
Show me.
For this list, we'll be looking at the strangest, cleverest, or funniest headlines from news outlets ever, including some where the humor was very much unintentional. What headline sticks out to you the most? Let us know in the comments. Number 20. A fish called murder. Some newspapers cover serious crimes like murder in a solemn, respectful manner. Others, like New Jersey publication The Trentonian, take a more lurid approach. In this front-page headline, the paper riffs on the title of a classic comedy to tell about a corrections officer charged with killing her lover.
What's this one's name? Well, not Wanda anyway. I'm going to call her Lunch.
Her alleged motive? The married man had turned down the fish she had made him for dinner. We don't know what happened next, but this headline, as tasteless as it is, definitely grabs your attention. Number 19. State population to double by 2040, babies to blame. For many, babies are innocent beings who can give us hope for a brighter and better tomorrow. But the writer of this headline seems to have viewed them as much more culpable. In a story about California's growing population by Tom Philp for the Sacramento Bee, babies get, metaphorically, thrown under the bus. Populations do generally increase with births, along with immigration. Saying babies are to blame is a strange way of putting it. Strange and hilarious.
There's nothing unusual about him, is there?
Well, I don't have a lot of experience with babies.
Number 18. Otter devastation. Sometimes a headline just writes itself, especially when there's a chance to deliver a pun as perfect as this. In a story about otters threatening the lives of fish and hens, would any other headline do? We're sad, though, that otters were implicated in such a serious story. Have you seen how cute they are, holding their hands while sleeping? Or how about the fact that they have favorite rocks for opening up shellfish? It's an otter shame.
No one is completely sure why they do this behaviour, but when they find a rock they like, they will almost juggle with it whilst they lay on their backs.
Number 17. Factory fart feeding families. We're pretty sure that the headline in this story in Indonesia's Jakarta Post is supposed to read factory art feeding families. But the elaborate presentation of the F in factory gives it a flatulent connotation. We don't mean to be immature, but it's hard not to giggle at this headline. Sometimes reading the news is an absolute gas.
Dude, did you fart? No?
Okay, we'll stop there. It does serve as a good reminder to double-check headlines before printing them, or in some cases, triple-check. Number 16. 2 men robbed of their marijuana in Westlake after practicing medieval sword fighting, police said. All good headlines should give you the gist of the overall story, but few do it as well as this one. In the Cleveland suburb of Westlake, Ohio, 2 men told the police that they had been robbed following some old-fashioned combat practice.
Look, I can't talk right now. I'm in the middle of battling in Macedonia.
But it turned out that they'd also been trying to deal drugs on the side.
I got some ibuprofen, aspirin. I got Flintstone gummies if you want.
You seem good at your job.
The men faced several charges, though some of these were reduced or dropped. Still, we can't believe how little common sense these men had. Number 15. Police arrest everyone on February 22nd.
Your Honor, I'm a law-abiding citizen. I'm just a regular guy.
So you say you're a law-abiding citizen with no history of criminal charges? Well, explain this headline, which informs us that everyone was arrested on what must have been a very busy day for the Norton Police Department. We're not sure which Norton this report is about, but it's ridiculous no matter where it's set. It's listed as being part of a police log, so we assume it's a general recap of recent arrests. But out of context, it's a baffling headline that suggests that maybe crime is a bigger problem than anyone realized.
God damn it! I hate it!
Number 14. Cows lose their jobs as milk prices drop. We knew it was a tough job market out there for humans, but did you ever consider how hard it is out there for the bovine population? This story, published in the Baltimore Sun in 2009, addresses a dramatic drop in milk wholesale prices and how it was negatively affecting dairy farmers. A very important story, no doubt, but the headline is utterly ridiculous. Hopefully, they obtain some new skills at a local cow college.
Cal, I gotta go
Julia, we got cows.
Number 13, no soup for you. The New York Post definitely isn't the Big Apple's most recognized newspaper, but when it comes to clever headlines, they reign supreme. This front-page story about the New York Jets and coach Rex Ryan missing out on a chance to play in the Super Bowl is a groaner. But it's a groaner that quotes a classic Seinfeld catchphrase, so we have to give it props.
Very good. Very good. You know something? No soup for you!
Does it get any more New York than this headline? Number 12. Sleepy driver crashes into Dallas mattress store. Drowsy driving is incredibly dangerous and can lead to accidents like the one reported in this story.
Drowsy driving is the second leading cause of fatal vehicle accidents, behind only drunk driving and ahead of driving while texting.
But this is still one of the most amusing headlines we've seen. It's as if there was some invisible hand of fate at work here. The woman behind the wheel thankfully wasn't hurt, though the mattress store definitely sustained some damage. Remember, to be a safe driver, you need to be completely alert at all times. Number 11. Police thwarted by goat stuck on roof who only respects one man. In 2013, law enforcement officials in Gresham, Oregon were presented with a very specific problem, one they almost certainly didn't receive training for. While on patrol, these officers came across a goat on the roof of a home. The goat had reportedly gotten up there via a ramp and would only come down when the homeowner arrived to retrieve him. In terms of hilarious headlines, this one is definitely one of the GOATs, or greatest of all time. Number 10. We hate math, says 4 in 10, a majority of Americans. According to a 2005 AP AOL poll, a lot of people dislike math, which isn't really surprising. But what is surprising is the headline here. Clearly, 4 in 10 is not a majority.
You do the math, you solve one problem, then you solve the next one.
Either the person who wrote the headline had their own personal vendetta against math, or they need to look up the word majority in a dictionary.
There's a whole lot of words in here.
Then again, the headline itself could be an intentional joke, in which case we have to hand it to them. That is a pretty good one. Number 9. Utah Poison Control Center reminds everyone not to take poison. Poison control centers serve an essential function in helping people avoid and recover from ingesting dangerous substances. But this headline simplified the message of the Utah Poison Control Center to a level that made it seem basically unnecessary. There are lots of things you can do to prevent poisoning. These include reading warning labels carefully and keeping medication and dangerous chemicals out of the reach of young children.
I think, first of all, we need to keep all pharmaceutical in boxes which are childproof. Also, all the other potential toxic substances that you store underneath your sink, in your garage, or in your shed should be out of reach from the children.
But the obviousness of this headline is just too much. Is there an antidote for bad journalism? Number 8. Miracle cure kills 5th patient. The exact meaning of the word miracle is fairly subjective, but hopefully we can all agree that things with fatal consequences don't qualify.
Do you want to continue this theological discussion in a car or in a jailhouse with the cops?
This headline for a story about an experimental drug for treating hepatitis B is a masterful use of irony. That or someone at the Associated Press needs a refresher on what constitutes a miracle. These deaths led to the trials for the drug Fialoridine being suspended. Whoever wrote this headline might need it to have been suspended as well. Number 7. Homicide victims rarely talk to police. Police rely on the testimonials of crime victims for culprits to be caught and convicted. However, it's a lot harder when the victim in question, well, isn't alive. What we find funniest about this headline from Pennsylvania's Express Times is its use of the word rarely. So are ghosts and zombies talking to the police?
Hello! How are you?
Is there a supernatural division that handles these particular matters?
The RIPD.
Rest in peace, department.
I get it. It's cute.
Someone called Dick Wolf. We might have another Law and Order spinoff. Number 6. Murderer says detective ruined his reputation. This headline is accurate without being obvious. It's also quite amusing. In 2001, convicted murderer Mark Jeffrey Stover filed a lawsuit against lead detective Lieutenant Walter Harper for, among other things, character assassination. Stover had the right to file the lawsuit, but you know what ruined his reputation way more than this detective's words ever could? Being convicted of murder. Something tells us this case didn't make it to the Supreme Court. Number 5. Statistics show that teen pregnancy drops off significantly after age 25. Teen pregnancy is a serious issue. How serious? It seems to be happening to people well into their 20s. We're used to seeing 20-somethings play teenagers in movies and TV shows, but we didn't think teen pregnancy could happen past age 19.
I mean, it's up to you, Fogel. This guy's either gonna think, here's another kid with a fake ID, or here's McLovin, the 25-year-old Hawaiian organ donor. Okay, so what's it gonna be?
I am McLovin.
On the upside, this headline gives us hope that these trends will get better with time. Still, there's no word on whether or not teen pregnancy rates are rising for people in their 30s. Number 4. Mississippi's literacy program shows improvement. This headline pulls off the impressive feat of being both uplifting and depressing. The good news, a Mississippi literacy program is apparently achieving some promising results. The bad news, the headline spells the state in question as Mississippi. It sends a particularly bad message if you have a typo in this particular headline. We hope no one in the program saw it, and if they did, hopefully they weren't led to believe that this was the proper spelling.
I'm sorry, I'm...
Type it again and get it right.
Number 3. Federal agents raid gun shop, find weapons. What else would you expect to find in a gun shop? This story from Tulsa World elaborates on the discovered weapons, saying that the agents found things such as landmines and grenades at the gun shop. But this headline is kind of like reading that ice cream was discovered at an ice cream shop.
You want a lick?
Did they not have the space to put the word illegal in front of weapons? Sometimes the right adjective makes all the difference.
Days are sunny or they're rainy. Boys are dumb or else they're brainy. Adjectives can show you which way.
Number 2. Sticks, Nicks, Hick Picks. This headline, first published in Variety in 1935, is both hilarious and creative. It's also become one of the most famous headlines of all time.
Thank you. Any questions?
No. Not for me.
Yes?
Yes?
I don't get it.
But you need to know some lingo to get it. Essentially, it means that people living in rural environments, known as the sticks, weren't paying to see movies about rural life. The punchy rhythm and clever phrasing of this headline makes it an absolute classic.
Before we continue, be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos. You have the option to be notified for occasional videos or all of them. If you're on your phone, make sure you go into your settings and switch on notifications.
Number 1. Headless body in topless bar. The best headline of all time is another one from the New York Post, published on April 15th, 1983. The perfect headline for a shocking crime, it was credited to the late Vincent A. Musetto, a Post copy editor. Not everyone at the Post was on board with this headline, but Musetto was adamant, and a legendary sentence fragment was born. The details of the story are too grimy to recount here. But in terms of wit, this headline is absolutely flawless.
Do you agree with our picks? Check out this other recent clip from WatchMojo, and be sure to subscribe and ring the bell to be notified about our latest videos.